Years ago, a UT professor took a group of photojournalism students to the East Tennessee town of LaFollette. The assignment was to capture everyday life through the lens of a camera. Eyes on LaFollette, as it became known, was an annual published event that became a tradition 20 years old now. Well, our producers Will Pedigo and Matt Amy have a special tie to this tradition.
1, 2, 3.
For one weekend each year, advanced photojournalism students from the University of Tennessee show up in a small town full of nerves and holding cameras.
We're here with Eyes on LaFollette to take some photos. First of all, there's the stress of finding the subjects. Should be up here on the right.
Is it not big? Let me see the paper.
Do you mind if we just take like 1 or 2 photos of you eating? You're talking to these people, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, what kind of focus, what kind of lens, what kind of aperture should I be using?
Yeah, I like his hot dog.
Okay.
And then there's always the pressure of the situations that you have no control of, the lighting situations, the weather situations.
What I've done in the past in photo classes have just been, take photos and we'll bring them in and we'll look at them and that's the end of it.
So will this be in a paper?
Yeah, it'll be in the LaFollette Press.
Oh, really?
It's this first real thing that's going to be really published in a real paper.
The students will have 12 hours over 2 days to capture their best images. Several thousand pictures will be winnowed down to a select few featured by the local newspaper.
My name is Larry Smith, and I was publisher and editor of the LaFollette Press from 1969 till we sold it in 2002. My goal in life was to have my own newspaper in a small community and see what I could do with it, see what I could do for the community.
In 1993, I was teaching an advanced photojournalism class at the University of Tennessee. I got the idea that it would be nice to document life in a small town.
And Rob mentioned one day, this is a project I'd really like to do, and I said, great, LaFollette's the place you need to do it.
The Eyes on LaFollette project was born. Larry Smith agreed to set aside one section of the paper once a year and give up complete editorial control to the students, with Rob Heller acting as editor.
There's no reason we should disagree on what makes the good pictures. Having said that, it's still my choice.
The Eyes on LaFollette is a special thing. Every time they do one, what I hope to see is the spirit of community mirrored in the faces and the eyes of the people that are photographed.
Each group of students participating in Eyes on LaFollette starts the weekend the same way. Friday morning, they take a tour of the LaFollette Press and get a group picture before heading out on a photographic scavenger hunt.
You are driving along and you're trying to find a book sale and you see a sign for a fish fry. You're like, well, there are going to be people there because it's right now, so let's go check that out and see who we meet right there.
Paying attention can lead to more photographs, but also realizations. Eyes on LaFollette is about more than simply taking pictures.
Really? The better photos that I've taken are from the people that I've talked to and the people that I've gotten to know.
It gets easier to take the pictures as you start talking with the people, having conversation with them, and then you're just casually snapping pictures. It's now been 21 years since the first edition of the Eyes on LaFollette project. Nearly 250 students have scoured the town trying to capture a couple of images that will make it into the paper. 15 years ago, I was one of those students. But I wasn't alone. I was joined by now veteran videographer and editor Matt Amy.
And both Will and I considered this our first real-world assignment.
No one else has looked at one community the way we have over this extended period of time. We get to see how this small town has changed or not changed over a period of little more than 20 years. That's what makes this unique.
The town of LaFollette isn't the only place where change has occurred. In the last 20 years, photography has transformed.
I tell my students sometimes that the changes in photography with the digital era are bigger than any other changes since the invention of photography in 1826. Everything that I grew up doing, everything changed, almost overnight.
This year, the Eyes on the Follette project will also be transformed. From pictures printed on newspaper to the walls of a museum. The students participating in this year's Eyes on the Follette project will be the last to have a chance at making it to the best of the best from 20 years of work.
When you consider how difficult it is to get something in the edition of Eyes on LaFollette, it's even more difficult when you are looking over 20 years of photographs. So we will present the best of all that work. We will make beautiful and large prints. Small town LaFollette will be shown on a much larger stage.
Okay.
For Matt, Amy, myself, and all the students who have participated in the Eyes on the Follette project, the exhibit will be a reflection on one of the most important assignments we ever had as students, but also a reminder that images, when done well, can transcend the single moment they portray.
As much as I wish that all my students want to go out and be professional photojournalists, I realize that that's not always the case. Some of them will go into completely different fields. They will always have photography. Everyone has a camera these days, and millions of photographs are made every day. Most of them are not very good. I want my students to think about the pictures that they're making, whether it's snapshots, whether it's pictures of their kids, whatever it might be. They will forever have thought behind the pictures that they make. That's what I hope.